Hi, we're continuing to look at the question, who is my God? In the Psalms and in the prophets, he's depicted as the one and only who rides on the clouds and the wind. So take a look at the one who rides on the clouds. Proverbs 30 verse 4. Who but God goes up to heaven and comes back down? Who holds the winds in his fist? And who wraps the oceans in his cloak? Who created the whole wide world? What is his name? And what is his son's name? Tell me if you know. Genesis 13, verse 17. I have placed my rainbow in the clouds. It is a sign of my covenant with you, and with all the earth, and with all creation. Psalms 104, verse 3. You make the clouds your chariot. You ride upon the wings of the wind. The winds are your messengers. Flames of fire are your servants. Hebrews 1 verse 7. He sends his angels like winds, his servants like flames of fire. Psalm 68:33. Sing to the one who rides across the ancient heavens, his mighty voice thundering. Psalm 68 verse 4. Sing loud praises to him who rides the clouds. His name is the Lord. Psalms 97 verse 2. Dark clouds surround him. Righteousness and justice are the foundation of his throne. Daniel 1 verse 17. Daniel has a vision later on, and he sees the Ancient of Days seated on the throne. I saw someone coming like the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven. Psalms 18 verse 9. He opened the heavens and came down. Dark storm clouds were beneath his feet. Mounted on mighty angelic being, he flew soaring on the wings of the wind. Verse 12. Thick clouds shield the brightness around him. Read Psalms 18. Isaiah 19 verse 1. Look, the Lord is advancing across ancient Egypt, riding on a swift cloud. Matthew 24 verse 30. And they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Exodus 3 verse 14. Moses asked the Lord, who shall I say sent me? And he said to Moses, tell him I am sent you. When the high priest asked him, Jesus, are you the Messiah, the Christ, Son of God? In Mark 14:62, Jesus answered and said, I am, and you will see the Son of Man seated in the place of power at God's right hand, coming on the clouds of heaven. Mark 14 verse 62. Then the high priest tore his clothing to show his horror. We don't need any more witness. Verse 64. Guilty, he deserves to die. Mark 9 verse 7. A cloud overshadowed them, and a voice came out of the clouds. This is on the Mount of Transfiguration. Acts 1 verse 9. After saying these things, he was taken into a cloud. This is when he ascended in the plain view of his disciples. Revelations 1 verse 7. Look, he comes with the clouds of heaven. Everyone will see him. Revelations 1 verse 8. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. The Lord God, I am the one who is, the one who always was, and the one who's still to come, the Almighty One. In Thessalonians 4 verse 17, then together with them, we who are still alive and remain will be caught up into the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. So take comfort in this. So you can see that the Lord is the one who rides the clouds, and this really ticked off the high priest, because Jesus was saying, I am God, when he said, you'll see the Son of Man coming on the clouds.